If you click this video wondering, can I actually wholesale real estate in Washington state and how does it really work? You are in the right place. In this video, I'm going to break down how wholesaling actually works in Washington, the rules you need to follow, and the real process from your first conversation to a homeowner to getting paid on a deal. And if you've never heard of wholesaling before, here's the simple version. It's one of the fastest ways to get into real estate without needing money. And it's how a lot of investors learn what they should buy in their market and create some income before ever buying their first property. My name is Vena, and this is how I got into wholesaling. I wanted to fast track my way to building wealth through real estate. I started as a real estate agent here in Washington, got into wholesaling because it was a more clear path to investing. I used my skills I built in the agent world to transfer over to wholesaling. And in just the last couple of years, my team has generated over $3 million in assignment fees here in Washington state. I've seen what works, what doesn't work, what's changed. And today I'm going to give you what works right now in this market. And here's the part most people get wrong. Wholesaling in Washington is not dead, but the way people used to do it absolutely is. I'll explain why and how to do it the right way in just a second here. So let's start with the biggest question I get. How does wholesaling work in Washington state, and what does an off-market deal look like from start to finish? We find homeowners who want fast, convenient solutions with selling. In order to generate the revenues that we do, my team spends 90% of our time finding sellers who want the fast off-market solution, which usually means speed, certainty, privacy, or convenience with less concern for top dollar. Once we find these motivated sellers, we put them under contract at a price that works for an investor. We'll talk about how to analyze deals in a second. And then we assign the contract to an investor who wants the deal. Different deals work for different investors, so we focus on casting a wide net all over Washington state, but you can niche down depending on your capacity and your goals. And yes, I have double close deals, but I don't recommend it. Assigning contracts is just a lot simpler, cleaner, and way less risky here. So when you're wholesaling, and this will be key when we start talking about the rules, you're not really selling houses. You're selling contractual interest in a transaction. Here's another common question. Why would a seller want to sell to a wholesaler? And do they know that you're not the direct buyer? The right sellers, the only ones who will do the off-market transaction, they absolutely know, and they don't care. They're choosing speed over showings, certainty over listings, and convenience over maximization. Let me be incredibly abundantly clear. This is not about taking advantage of anyone. Those are the primary real-world scenarios that we see over and over. So from the start, I'm clear that I work with cash investors, and my role is to bring that seller a solid offer. As an investor myself, I might be the one bringing the money in closing, or it might be one of my partners. Our ideal seller does not care where the money comes from. They just care that it shows up as promised. We use clear contracts and contingencies to protect everyone involved, and we set expectations up front so there are no surprises and no shady business. Professionalism is the forefront of our business. It is the only way to keep a sustainable wholesale business here in Washington. So it is out in the open or not at all. So how do wholesalers actually get paid? Wholesalers make money because investors are willing and happy to, I may add, pay for speed, certainty, and deals that will make the money. I have made fees as little as $5,000 and as much as over $100,000. Most of my buyers are flippers or landlords who are too busy running projects to hunt for leads, chase down deals, negotiate, and follow up for months. That's the work that we do behind the scenes to get these deals ready for the investor to just come in and close on. A lot of investors talk down on wholesalers, but what they're really outsourcing is time, effort, and expertise. Most of my flippers don't want to be in the people business. They don't want to have to go talk to people about their houses, negotiate, etc., etc. They just want to do what they're good at doing, which is running numbers, managing flips, getting them ready for resale, and profiting on those flips. They do what they're good at, and we do what we're good at. That's why I say they're happy to pay a fee for a clean, vetted opportunity that they didn't have to spend months trying to source themselves. The buyer pays the assignment fee, and that shows up on the buyer side of the transaction. So it's rare that the seller sees what we're making. And here's what makes Washington different from a lot of other states. We are in a high-end market. Sellers here are informed. They know what their house is worth, or they can figure it out really easily, which means sloppy numbers, fake urgency, and pressure tactics do not work here. What does work is professionalism, clear communication, strong service, understanding what sellers actually need, and delivering on it. That is how you win deals here. These are the things that we coach on every week inside Off Market Academy. It's open nationwide, but us being in Washington, we do have Washington-specific resources and tools, and you can check it out in the description below. Now let's talk about the rules. Do you need a real estate license to wholesale in Washington state? No, you technically do not need a real estate license to wholesale in Washington. Like I said earlier, wholesaling is about selling your contractual interests, not representing buyers or sellers. And our state law currently does not require a license to wholesale, but the rules did change. As of January 2026, Washington has new disclosure requirements for off-market transactions, where sellers now have a 10-day grace period to exit the agreement for any reason and the right to an appraisal paid for by the buyer. And if either party is represented by a licensed agent, these disclosures are not required. This only kills wholesaling for those who are not willing to play by the rules and want to go around doing shady business. These rules are important. I really don't even see myself as a wholesaler. I see myself as a real estate advisor. I walk into a seller's house, I let them know what they could get on market, what the differences are in the process, and let them choose what they'd like to do. So these rules are important because they force clarity and professionalism. So what does get wholesalers in trouble here in Washington that leads to all these rules? Problems usually come from misrepresenting your role, leading sellers on, or trying to pressure or take advantage of them. In Washington especially, issues show up when people aren't transparent. Hiding their intent, being vague about how the deal works or their pricing, or creating false urgency. But if you're transparent, disclose properly, and just focus on doing good business, you'll be operating clean. So let's walk through what a wholesale deal actually looks like. Step one, you want to find your motivated seller. Like I said, we work all over Washington. Rule of thumb is wherever the investors are is where we're looking for deals, because we want to make sure that if we're looking in that area that there's going to be demand. And generally that's just where most people live. If you get a lead that's truly like in the middle of nowhere, super rural, not a lot of houses around, it's usually going to be like vacant land. It's going to be less worth pursuing than like a single family fixer in South King County. I'll just tell you now, that is what the investors love the most here in Washington. The majority of our deals come from our cold calling system. We use Property Radar for data. We skip trace the phone numbers inside Property Radar and load them into Enzo Dialer. My team consists of local people who are cold calling, and they aim to have 30 to 100 conversations with homeowners every single day. We are not pitching, we are listening. We're looking for people who want to sell, and we're looking for a problem to solve. Whether it's speed, certainty, or convenience, we're looking for those clues that point that the off-market cash offer might be good for this particular seller. And then we're presenting those options. Cold calling is where most and our best deals have come from, and I recommend starting there if you're new to this so that you can learn the game, practice talking to people, and generate opportunities all at the same time. But if you're someone who might not have as much time to put into finding off-market deals, other effective channels include driving for dollars, networking with agents, and I also like direct mail through open letter marketing for Washington State. We've done a little bit of PPC and online leads, but they're pretty expensive given that this is a higher end market, so we just stick to organic outreach. The point is consistently having conversations with homeowners, and once you start doing that, you will find people who are open to your offer. And once you do, step two is to lock up that property at a price that makes sense. In Washington, most of our buyers are fix and flip investors. Like I said, they're looking for those King County fixers where they can flip and make a 20% profit. So as a general rule, they're looking for deals where their total cost is about 80% of the ARV or after repair value. We just sold a deal where the ARV was $1 million. The rehab cost was about $200,000. The investor paid $600, and we had gotten that locked up with the seller for $550. The investor's all-in cost was $600 purchase price plus $200 rehab. That's $800,000 or 80% of $1 million ARV. We made the difference between the contract price and the investor's purchase price, so we made $50,000 on that deal. Came from a cold call. It took several months of following up with that seller until they were ready to sell, but we negotiated fairly, got it locked up, sold to the investor, and it was a win-win-win. That seller got to sell their house without listing it. This gentleman was very motivated to not list and work with agents. The investor got a good deal, and we made our assignment fee. And we just rinse and repeat that. We sell about 3 to 4 deals per month. I always get asked, how do you figure out how much you're going to make on a deal? When I underwrite, my focus is not how much I'm going to make on this deal. It's knowing my market well enough to confidently say that if I lock this deal up within a reasonable range of that 80% number, one of my investors will be interested. And if we can't sell it, like I said, we have contingencies in the contract. We're clear with the seller. If we did sign that seller a little high, we let them know we're going to try, but if not, then we have to revisit numbers or just cancel the transaction. And so if the seller is coming from a place where they really need urgency and something certain, then we make sure that that's worked out and made clear from the beginning. And the assignment fee naturally becomes the gap between my contract price and what the investor is willing to pay. Any of our higher assignment fees, like $50,000 plus, they normally come just because the buyer is willing to pay for that deal given the location, or they need to buy something quick to 1031, tax purposes, etc. So your job as a wholesaler is to understand those numbers and contract the property accordingly. Lotside, formerly Pelago.com, I think both websites still work, is a great tool for estimating both rehabs and ARVs. Makes it very easy to do your quick deal analysis. And step 3 in your transaction, assign and close. When I get the property under contract, I price it above my contract price and send that out to my investors. And generally, I take first come, first serve at my asking price or best offer. And if the best offer is below my contract price, then I have to go try and renegotiate with the seller. Or again, if we can't make the deal happen, just cancel the deal. Once you have your buyer at a price above your contract price, that's really the only rule. Don't try to get greedy and only try to make so much. Like, it's really weird when I hear I'm trying to make X on this deal, because you really don't get to choose. It's the difference between contract price and what investor is willing to pay. Time and time again, I've had fees reduced, cut in half, sometimes almost fall apart right before closing because the buyer reran their numbers or something changed with their loan or 100 other things. So our job is also to know the industry well and be a really great problem solver when these things come up. But I digress. Find your buyer, assign the contract, and close it through an investor-friendly escrow company. Escrow is going to take both contracts, get the money from the buyer, give the contract price to the seller, and pay you the difference. It really is that simple. My wholesale team works with thousands of buyers across Washington, and they are always hungry for more deals. So if you're ever out there finding deals and you get stuck on disposition, you do not have to figure it out alone. Bring us the contract. We'll have the details on that below. Now, if you want support with wholesaling as a whole and getting started and doing it the right way in Washington, including Washington-specific contracts, trusted escrow contacts, and the ability to JV with my team and take your deals from A to Z for a fair profit share, that is exactly what we do in the Off Market Academy. And like I said, if you're already wholesaling and you just need access to more buyers, links are in the description. Drop your questions below, and I'll see you in the next one.